One of the main reasons that associations even exist is to build community. However, we currently live in a world where people don't seem as interested in community unless it's something they can do from their desk at home online. We have been caught up in this world of likes, links, shares, and follows for about a decade now. And studies are showing that people feel lonelier and more disconnected than they ever have. That's why I think in 2023, trade associations stand the chance to reclaim everything that they stand for when it comes to providing connection to people in their industries and allowing them to collaborate and starting conversations. My name's Thom Singer, and I believe that community is the answer to everything. When we have community, collaboration, and conversations, we can solve any problem that faces our society. And yet, too often we silo ourselves off. People only want to be around people who they already agree with, people who are of similar levels of success, or people who work in the exact same industry and the exact same job. I recently talked to the leader of a pretty successful company in an industry, and I asked him why he didn't support his industry trade association. And he said, because there's too many wannabes and too many people who just want to pick my brain. And I said, well, what do you do about community? And he rattled off the name of 3 or 4 other successful people who were very much like him. And he said, they come to my house every quarter and we drink bourbon and we talk about the problems facing the world and our industry. Well, that's not really community. That's a small clique in an ivory tower talking about things. I asked, do you then create a video or a white paper or a blog post that talks about the things that you're thinking about? He looked at me like I was crazy. So that's fine. We don't have to all belong to everything, and not everybody's going to want to succeed in an organization. But I really believe that trade associations are poised to bring back that connectedness that people want. Being isolated and disconnected, it just brings on more isolation and depression and this feeling that you don't belong. So we need to find ways to bring people together. Another association that I belong to really started to fall apart because people started jabbing at each other, and people who felt like they don't understand me or they're different than I am started name calling. They even had to shut down their Facebook page because it got so nasty the way people were treating each other. And then many of those people on both sides of the argument were like, well, I'm not going to renew my membership. Well, that's okay. Not everybody has to belong. And if you're not happy in an organization, you shouldn't belong. However, we need to work to bring people together, not to continually divide people. I am a real big believer in this idea of human connection. And I think it's more important than ever. So when I go and speak at association conferences, one of the things I talk about is the power of that community that people belong to. I try to get people excited again to look around the room at the conference and realize that all around them is where the greatest asset, the greatest payback, the ROI from attending that conference comes from. Because you can go to an industry conference and listen to great keynote speakers. I like to believe I'm a great keynote speaker. However, the speakers aren't where the value is. The value comes from everyone else who's sitting in the chairs in the audience, the people who are participating in the conference. And so when I speak, I talk about that. Now, some people roll their eyes and it's not their thing, but others are emboldened to go up and have conversations that they may have never had before. And I think this is what every association needs to do. No, they don't all need to hire me, but they need to get really focused about how do we build community? How do we find what we have in common and let that bring us together instead of constantly looking at why is she different or why is he different and then splitting apart? I would love to talk to you about the sense of community. I want to work to see every industry have a great association that can be that hub of the people who matter and are making a difference, and it can mentor people and bring the next generation along. But it doesn't happen by accident, and you cannot force people to be part of a community. I've learned that lesson the hard way, because when people feel that there's no value in it for them, they just go their own way. Sometimes they even start competitive organizations. However, if you can really build a community that prides itself in being united, that prides itself in serving the greater good, I believe that a lot of those people who kind of walked away will want to come back. How into community is your association that you belong to? Is community the number one thing, or is the association just about collecting dues and sponsorships? That's important because they have to be able to pay their staff and keep the lights on. But the most important thing for the lifeblood of every association out there is having that sense of community, collaboration, and conversation. I hope that's what's happening in your industry trade association. I want to see that happen in every industry trade association. So give me a call. I'd love to have a conversation with you.